everyone, welcome to Pommyinoz. How are you all doing? I hope you're really well on this wonderful Monday morning. If you are new round here, please drop a like, please subscribe and please share it on your socials. We've just cracked over 250, so thank you very much for that. Let's see if we can smash the 300. We've got 3 days to go until the end of the month. It would be grouse if we could do it. And what we're doing is we're doing our tipping, our weekly little foray into trying getting the elusive 9 games right. We haven't done so bad this year. We're currently 49 out of 71 games, which isn't so bad. It's been a tough season and it's been really hard to predict. I have looked at the fixtures though this week and I've got an inkling that 9 could be on, and I've thrown a few curveballs. So without any further ado, let's get straight into it. First game is on Wednesday and it's 7:10 and it's the Doggies versus Richmond. Now, Richmond haven't been in their free-flowing form at the moment. They have started to show a bit of late, but they do still look vulnerable. And the Doggies, on the other hand, they've kind of been either brilliant or kind of elusive. It's going to be a tough game up at Metricon, and I'm going to back the Doggies in here. I really do think that the Doggies are going to do something. If I had to guess a margin, I've gone with 71-63. I think it will be a tight game, and it's style makes fights. I keep saying that every week, and this game is one of them that falls into that category. Both sides play beautiful football, real quick, very free-flowing. Should be an absolute ripping tie for you Queensland contingent. Should be a great game. Super excited. But I'm going to back the Doggies on this one. Then on Thursday at 7:50 at the Gabba, we've got Port Adelaide and they've got the D's. Now Port have been flying. They're probably one of the strong sides. A lot of people jumped on the bandwagon. They got beaten this weekend though by St Kilda. St Kilda are another side that look really good. And the D's in recent weeks have started to show a bit. They were quite unlucky at the weekend. They did get that game right on the line. Just in the end, a bit too much class from Brisbane. And they have been kind of playing very well. They did look quite elusive at the Gabba. For me though, I'm going to stick with Port. I think Port will bounce back with a little bit of a bang. I think, you're going to see games there. Gray's kind of was a bit anonymous last week. I think Charlie Dixon was quiet as well. I think this week though that they will really come to the fore and look to make a statement against the D's. D's though always are kind of elusive. They either play hot or cold, but I just think it's going to be a bit too much for them. I think Port will get back that bandwagon rolling again. Then on Friday at 5:40, the mighty Blue Boys, my beloved boys, guys who are going to be in the top 8 come the end of the year. They play Hawthorn, who, let's be honest, Hawthorn have really struggled. Just taking nothing away from them, they are a great side. I just don't like the Hawks at the moment. I look at them and they look like they're not playing for anything. They look like a team that is really struggling at the moment. I do personally think that side isn't a Clarkson side. You look at that side with the players that they've lost, you don't really see anything about that side that says that this is a Clarkson style side. I even think Clarkson's game plans kind of got lost a little bit in translation. I always do worry in any sport when a coach is making a plethora of excuses, and I just personally, with all due respect, see this as a game too far for Hawthorn. I'm tipping Carlton here 88 versus 59 versus the Hawks. I think Carlton are going to have a free-for-all. I think Hawthorn have looked very wasteful in their entries. They are guilty at times of bombing it quite long. That plays into Carlton's transitional game strength, and I think Carlton are going to have a field day. I really do think that this is going to be a tough one for Hawks. And stay tuned. I think Clarkson's going to give some quality bants in a press conference because the guy hates losing. Then at 8:10 we've got Essendon and they play Brisbane at the Metricon. Now Essendon, they're a team that keep kind of flatters to deceive. They've kind of gone under the radar. They win tight games. They may have not impressed a lot of people, but this side, they're in the top 4 for a reason. And they host Brisbane. And you think with that game in hand as well Essendon have got, it could be a lot higher. But for me, I think Brisbane are playing some good football. I think they dodged a bullet at the weekend versus Melbourne. I think they'll adjust a few things and you'll see a more attacking, aggressive game plan. Tipping Brisbane here to win by 13, 79-66 in Brisbane's favour. I think Brisbane are going to be really the dark horses of this tournament. I think a lot of people are kind of forgetting about the Lions. And I think that skill they've got, when you've got Neil, you've got Cluggage, you've got Loins, you've got players like that, Hipwood as well. He just keeps sneaking up when it matters. He had a couple of chances to put that game away. Very dangerous, and Cam Rayner's really starting to look like the player that they drafted. I think that's a very solid side, and when you add their backline, for me, it's a tough side to beat. I reckon Brisbane will get the job done. Then on Saturday at 2:35, we've got North Melbourne versus the Crows. Now, interesting here, both sides are struggling, and I actually think the Crows are going to get up here. I've tipped the Crows by 3, 68-65. Wasn't really impressed by North, and I think if you play the man versus Adelaide, they've got enough in their arsenal to cope with that. They have been making games scrappy also. I think as opposed to Carlton, who are looking for a more free-flowing game plan, we've kind of stepped away from that backs to the wall job. I think Adelaide will be acquitted, and I think for me, I've got a feeling that Adelaide will get the chocolates here. They've been threatening to get a dub, and I think this will be their first dub. It's a tough one though, because North, I do think highly of North. I know I've been critical of them. I do think highly of them. They've got a very good young list and very exciting, but I just think Adelaide here just going to have that grit and determination to get the job done. Then at 5:10 we've got at the Gabba, we've got Saints versus Sydney. Now Saints have been really, really good. They've been in some great form. Ratton's got them playing absolutely splendidly at the moment, and it's going to be an interesting battle between Butler and Papley, two of the informed small forwards in the competition. Both got the ability to change a game. Also looking forward to seeing the Steele battle up against the Sydney midfield. We know Steele is playing absolute brilliant football at the moment, and I am really enjoying seeing him play. I think this is going to be a really good game because you've got kind of that tenacity from a Longmuir's Sydney versus the kind of expansive game plan of a Ratton. But I am going to stick with Saints here. I think they'll win 85-69. I think the Saints train will continue marching on in AFL 2020, and you can't begrudge them. I do love Rats. Then at 8:10, probably the game on the round when you look at it on paper, we've got the Eagles versus Geelong. Now Geelong had a very professional performance against Fremantle in the bitter weather that they just experienced yesterday evening. And the Eagles, they're starting to find their form. Kelly's starting to find a lot of the pill. Shuey, Kennedy rolled back the years as well. And I do think at the Optus, you can't look past the Eagles. I think they look pretty unstoppable. I'm going to tip 79-67 in the Eagles' favour. I think the Eagles will get the job done, and they look really good. They were my pick to win it, and I still haven't seen anything yet that changes my mind. Then on the Sunday afternoon, we've got Gold Coast Suns versus the Giants at 3:35. And even though it's at the Metricon, I'm going to tip the Giants here 80-61, and I'll tell you for why. I think the GWS side are starting to hit the straps now. They're starting to really play some good football. I think when you've got midfielder Coggy, Whitfield, Kelly, it's tough to beat. Kelly looks like he's in form. Green's hitting his straps. Cameron's been quiet. And I just think it's a job too much for Gold Coast. I have respected what Gold Coast do, and I still think they're a shout for the 8. But I think the Giants will get the job done here. Really make a statement. Look to really put some runs on the board and kind of get that one up on the other sides who have struggled. We know Eagles have lost to Gold Coast, etc. I think this will be a really good one. And then we finish the week in this plethora of football with Fremantle versus the Pies. Now, Pies were shocking at the weekend, absolutely pulled apart by a wonderful Eagles outfit. Fremantle really did show some fight in the pouring rain. It was atrocious conditions, and they did keep it interesting for large parts. Now, Longmuir has just done an interview this morning and said that Fife will be ready. So with that being said, even though Walters looks kind of a doubt for there, I think Fife coming back versus Collingwood, I think it's going to cause problems. They looked really lost without Pendles. And I'm actually going to tip Fremantle to get the job done. A lot of respect for what Longmuir is doing at Fremantle. I think Sarong looks brilliant. We know I'm a big fan. Hayden Young in the games he's played. Mundy's really stepping up in Fife's absence. It looks a good side for me. And I think there's a lot of players there that can cause you problems. Tabben has been a revelation, and I am going to be interested in seeing that ruck battle. You know, Lobb and Darcy versus Grundy. I think it's going to be a really good combination. Super excited about seeing that because we know Grundy had a poor week last and he is back in his hometown. But I am going to tip Fremantle to get the job done 72-68. They're my tips. Please let me know what you guys think in the comments. I'd love to hear your tips. Please fire them away. What are you looking forward to the weekend? What's your most exciting thing? Big question for me is how good is having footy every day for the next 20 days from Wednesday? It's going to be absolutely splendid. Tell me who your tips are for this week though. Please let me know in the comments. If I don't see you through the week, see you through the window. POM out.